These are some Dinar Guru updates, starting off with Claire article, quote, Iraq pays the sums of its membership in the World Trade Organization. Another quote, the Minister of Commerce and Chairman of the National Committee on Iraq's Ascension to the organization had issued directives to give the issue the utmost importance, unquote. Mark Z via PDK, quote, Iraq pays the sums of its memberships in the World Trade Organization, unquote. Do you know one of the most important things to have to be in the WTO? Mark Z says an international tradable currency. This article is very important. Iraq has paid off Iran and the dues for the World Trade Organization. We just need the when are they going to pull that trigger. All right, Paulette says implementation of Article 140 seems to be on the horizon. This is likely the bone that was thrown to the Kurds in order to get the budget passed. Latif, a Kurd, wanted to make sure the Supreme Judicial Council is on board. This appears to be a key to him signing the budget alone with resolution of the 400,000 barrels per day issue with Turkey. All seems to be coming together nicely. All right, Walking Stick via Frank26. What can avoid a recession in Iraq? Number 1, introduce the new currency with a comparable exchange rate. Number 2, let your currency float in international basket where many other currencies support each other. Number 3, increase their exports. They need to start tapping into more of their natural resources. All right, Nader from the Mideast says if he doesn't go on July, we're not going until 2025. I'm sorry to give you this bad news, but if it's fixed, it's fixed. They're going to try to work on the economy and the private sector and all that, so it'll make it better. That's what's going to happen. I was telling you guys, even every budget's a rate, but it was a normal rate. It's $1,300. All right, Frank26, this is a Blue Star Bank story. He says, I went to the mothership in the greater part of the D.C. area. I was invited by this lady to meet who turns out was an Iraqi woman. Which was quite exciting. She had been a premier banker for 10 years. She knew all the bigger wigs. Anyway, we're talking and I told her a little bit about my history, about how I've been following this for 15 years or thereabouts, and I had been in the room with Maliki, Abadi, Jabori, and I heard them speak. I didn't say anything about Shabibi. I guess I could have, but I said I've been following this closely. I think you got a great country, I said. I know you're moving forward. I know things are modernizing. I heard JP Morgan is developing a presence there in Iraq, and it's amazing, but the general public has no idea what's going on. There's been a lot of disinformation. So I told her all this, and she tried to play poker because, I could tell I was hitting the right information points. She had kind of an interested look on her face. I mentioned about Iraq and the currency, and she said, well, we've heard a lot of talk. We haven't seen anything yet, but we are, shall we say, we are watching this closely. All right, Frank26, Blue Star Bank story continued, said that was the first time in all these years that I'd gotten anyone to say something like that. I said, I've been with Wells a long time. She looked it up. She said, wow, you've been with us for 46 years. I said, I have these minimums that I haven't been meeting, and therefore I've been getting these charges. I'm wondering if you can take care of me because I want to establish a relationship with you folks. Within a day or two, all my charges had been taken off. That was a signal to me that they know it's coming. They want to make sure I realize they value me because that had never happened before. She said she couldn't do it, but then she ended up doing it. That's not the most outrageous and lightning bang story ever. However, I thought it would be of interest. All right, Militiaman says, to be an observer component of the WTO, you have to be responsible. You're supposed to pay your fees and dues. Iraq hasn't been paying their dues since 2018. Why would you pay your dues if you're not having any short-term need to have ascension? You don't. So they didn't pay. Guess what? They paid it all up to date. The World Trade Organization has got their dues. Why would you do that? Because you're looking forward towards the ascension into the World Trade Organization. This isn't something that tells me we're going to be sitting here until 2024 or 2025. And lastly, Mountain Goat says, I feel we have been in a critical period of the currency reform program since January of this year, 2023. Now we are in a vital period since the 3-year budget has been passed on Sunday, June 11th. I quote from today's article, quote, the budget needs formal approval from the presidency of the Republic within 15 days and after publication in the official fact sheet to be effective, unquote. Now we wait for the president of Iraq to ratify the budget. He has told us he is going to, quote, take his time and review it carefully, unquote. According to the Iraqi constitution, he has 15 days from the date it was delivered to his desk, June 15th, to ratify it. That brings deadline to July 1st.